Hello, hello, my green skins. If I sound sick, I definitely am. So, what are we talking about for this What If? We'll be talking about the Rambo alternate endings, What If, and the rumors and weird story arcs I've heard for the Rambo series after this. So, what is your thoughts on the Rambo 1 uh, alternate ending?
Well, as the video is playing, you will see that Rambo is going to commit suicide at the end of the first movie, which obviously would have taken the franchise, um, practically in no direction. The only reason we had sequels is because he lived. But this is not some random thing they thought out because Rambo was is based on a novel called First Blood, and the and that and in that book is where he dies. And they were just following that. But obviously, test audiences were not happy with that ending, so they had to go back and change it.
Yeah, I've had that conversation with people. You'd be surprised how often test audience have actually changed history. Like there's Die Hard. Apparently, it did the ending for Die Hard and a couple other Die Hard 3, and there's a couple other ones that had these huge test editing. And that, yeah, no, you'd be surprised. These dark endings don't always go bode well for the audiences. And so I would say as a phone goes off. That's okay. We'll start back in a couple seconds. I would say that Rambo, with this alternate ending, I think if history would have done this, I think it would have made a really good movie and hit a point home. As much as the writer has said that this movie would have been like doing it that way because the writer was not happy. From what I heard, the writer was pissed off at the fact that they did this. Like he didn't like it at all. He was like, "Well, I wanted the ending I actually wrote for the book." This is the same thing with the ending for Death Wish. Death Wish 1. He's not supposed to survive.
Well,
Like
actually, the
he
real
gets
story is, as I said, the book had this dark ending, and obviously the movie
mm,
for the film it was changed after test screening. Um, what happened, or what I've come to understand happened, was the original actor for Colonel Troutman, who
mm,
was supposed to be Kirk Douglas before he was replaced by Richard Crenna, which,
uh,
funny enough, this is the change I actually like because I thought Crenna was great for the part, but I digress. Um, Kirk Douglas wanted the dark ending, even though people didn't like
yeah.
it. He thinks it's more artistic, and he was obviously a big star, so anything he said, he had say, he had power in how movies went. But because he was
Yeah.
fired, they were able to do this to make the change without any problems.
Well, yeah, and can you, and like I said, in our alternate reality from this story arc, if you actually think about it, Rambo, it ends it with an emotional response. Like the whole idea of oh, excuse me, the whole idea of Rambo is that he to have it end like that, where it's to incorporate the fact that you're not taking care of your boys, you're not taking care of those who went to fight. You're soldiers. You're treating them like shit, and then you drove like that. That's what it literally. It to me, it's always been that. It's you boil down to that. This was a guy that couldn't get a fucking job. Like the guy could literally operate heavy fucking $100 million technology, and he can't even fucking get a job as a mechanic.
No, he couldn't.
And
And I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't want the dark ending because obviously people who came back from the war, well, Vietnam at the time,
mm,
who had PTSD, and I think what one of the sentiments was that they didn't want this film to plant the seed of an idea that to to get rid of the trauma they suffered is suicide.
I don't agree with that because especially for what was like down around that, like we're gonna get into some dark political stuff, but we won't. We'll try to stay away from that.
That's not
But
my theory. That's what was actually said by Stallone.
I I don't agree with that logic because I don't think it was that at all. I think it was the sad pointlessness that this was a man who was, pushed too far, a man that had nothing and then was thrown to the wolves. Remember, if it's to like in the book, it has a lot. It's a lot darker what they actually do to him in the book. They also make references to the sheriff is actually a soldier himself. He won awards and medals and stuff. It
Yeah,
was
he was
meant
in
to
Korea.
determine what was he in Korea? The soldiers,
Yeah,
the
this was a plot point
I
not
thought he was in
shown
World
in
War II.
the. It was a plot point not expanded on in the movie, but in the book, and you can actually see his medals in the movie. He was in Korea, and his beef with
Yeah,
Rambo is because the Vietnam War was fresh in people's mind, and he felt he was losing his importance and relevancy. He was being eclipsed. His heroism was eclipsed. So that's
yeah,
why he
where
was attacking
Rambo,
with Rambo.
yeah, but where Rambo was shunned, and it was it's a one, it's an interesting idea. Like I said, it does add to that political gravitas. We won't get too much into it because holy shit. But I think that ending would have worked well for Rambo, and I think it would have been. I think First Blood would have been considered a good move. Would be considered even better because of the death. I also think Sylvester Stallone acted amazing in that last little bit. Like it's it's probably his best acting I think I ever saw him do. Because if as long as he's not doing that freaking Jersey accent, that accent from Rocky, um, I think him doing himself like that one role was really good. It's up there with some of the acting in some later in his Rocky movies. Some of the Rocky movies had amazing acting from Sylvester Stallone.
So to answer what would have happened if this is the ending they still went for, I think
Yeah,
Stallone, obviously, he might have been shortly after, he would have been praised. He would have gotten maybe some film roles, but I don't think it would have lasted because I think what kept his career going was the Rambo sequels and Rocky sequels, of course. But
I
that's
would
what made
say
it.
I would
That,
say that Rocky. I would say he'd be getting different roles. I think Sylvester Stallone would have been getting far better roles. I think Rambo typecast him and typecast him to canon films, which gave us some awesome action movies. But if he had one and done, I think it could have given him better different roles. I just think he'd be an icon for being in fucking Godfather 2 or something like that. I think he would have more of a. I think he would end up in the. I think in a way it helped his career for being a part of Rocky, but I mean Rambo. But it also typecasted him as this guy. I think he would have ended up in something like.
well,
I actually do
true
believe
story.
that if you know,
Um, when after Rocky, which obviously predates Rambo, there have
mhm.
been people firsthand. I've asked firsthand. People thought always equated Stallone to Rocky, and Rocky is a dumb guy, and for some reason, people thought he was dumb. Like Stallone was
Yeah. Oh,
Rocky. Unfortunately, he was. So
other
I think
than
Rocky would have typecast him as the dumb brute.
I don't think so. I think Rocky would have been an interesting one. Like I said, he's an interesting actor by far. I think he's smarter than everyone. I think he's smarter than people like to portray him. But I think
Oh yeah,
Rambo was good. Yeah, yeah. Rambo
he
was
knows.
good for what it
He
was.
can speak. He's a good orator. Stallone.
Yeah.
So when you see him in interviews, he's quick. His
Except for the fucking Expendables, which god damn it, those two movies, he can't fucking talk. It's like fuck me. Whoever was doing the mic for that, fucking fire his ass. He shouldn't be working.
No,
Holy
I think that
shit.
movie suffers, and a lot of movies really suffer. Is the growl or the whisper? I don't know why people
Yeah.
like their actors whispering or growling or talking like this. Dirty Harry wannabes.
Uh,
Like just speak for God's
I
sake.
don't. speak.
And just
Yeah,
because you
I
have a British
agree.
accent doesn't mean you're a good actor. I hate it when people in North America think, oh, if someone has a British accent, that means he is some great thespian actor. No, they're not. They can be shit. A lot of them are shit. I'm
Yeah,
getting off
well.
topic. Um,
Anyway, so back to the story here. No, I think his career would have been fine, but I think Rambo helped typecast him into the into the macho man role, which he enjoyed. So can you blame him for not wanting to keep doing those roles? So on to there's a lot of rumors about a deleted ending for Rambo 2, but none of I couldn't find any information on it. So we're moving on to Rambo 3. Yeah, yeah, I've heard a couple things that like I've heard that rumor twice, and you brought it up recently. I don't know. I can't find it. You can't find it, so we'll call it. So next is our favorite little bundle of joy, Rambo 3. Now this is an interesting ending, and would have probably ended the franchise permanently, which in my opinion. So the end of Rambo 3, you're going to be watching it now. You have Sylvester Stallone, Rambo, deciding to side with the Afghans and become Rambo of Arabia. And
Afghans aren't Arab, but okay.
I apologize for the bad joke, but
He's
the
Canadian.
dark did it work.
He doesn't know his geography.
I'm not from that region. Yes, of course I'm not going to know that information. But
So give him a break.
yeah, give me a break. Yeah. Fuck it. Tell me where Saskatchewan is, asshole. Anyway, it was a good joke, and you laughed, so it gave certified approval. So I kind of like the idea of Rambo of Arabia, but that would have ended the franchise. Let's be fucking honest. There is how does he get like he abandons himself and becomes a under military law, even though he was going there as a black ops. If he fucking did that and he didn't go back to America, he's fundamentally going MIA. No, sorry, AWOL. I apologize to those. I got several vets screaming at me right now because he's supposed to come back. And when he doesn't come back, like yeah, sure they could say he was killed in action, but if he ever gets caught by the Russians or any of that shit, it's a bad day because he's an American citizen
Yeah,
fighting in a foreign war.
earlier in the film, they said if you get captured, we'll deny your participation or knowledge of your existence. Played by the dad in that 70s show.
Yeah.
Ed.
Oh, Ironside. Yeah, Ironside. Yeah, Michael. I think
Ironside.
it's Michael Ironside.
No,
Yeah,
that's
fucking amazing.
I forget his name, but Michael Ironside is a different person.
Is it really? I thought that was I could be wrong. Anyway, this guy. Unfortunately for us, it's a cool idea. I actually like that ending because it ends the series, and I think 4 and 5 were unneeded. But okay, what do you think, Dark?
I don't agree. I don't think it would have ended the series. I think this ending could have happened, but it wouldn't have affected what came after. They wouldn't because Rambo 4 takes place so long after what was it like 20 years later. So anything can happen between that time and where he could go live in.
Yeah. I guess you could say he went AWOL like, and he fucked off afterwards or something like that. But it's a serious debate. Like this movie is a propaganda piece against the war. When the Russians gave war, kind of went to Afghanistan to start their little schism. When that happened, I'm trying not to get too political here, so I apologize if anyone don't take that the wrong way. Uh when that happened, like the idea of this movie was dripping with that mentality of fucking get out. Like we saw your fucking like there's a famous quote in this movie. You said we had our Vietnam. This is yours, and that's a cool scene, but it screams to be true, right? And I think it's a great show. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great idea. but it screams politics. And I don't know, Dark. How would you move Rambo to from Afghan? Like technically, you are right. If Rambo was that does actually fix some of the plot holes. Because why the hell did he leave America? Like why the hell did he leave his farm to go back to Thailand? Why would he want to be anywhere near fucking Thailand?
Well, I could answer that, but we'd have to get very political, and I think we need to avoid that at all costs.
Well, I see no reason for him. Like, here's the horror story. I've heard several rumors about this, and we've talked about the rumors and hearsay. Now, some of the stuff you can find online. Some of this is just people spouting shit. And again, this is a hypothetical conversation, so I figure we could touch base on some
Well,
information that might be true.
I think
And then,
if you want me to grab something from the film itself that could answer the question, there is a
hmm,
deleted scene in the fourth movie, which was later re-added in a
yeah.
extended cut, where Rambo talks about how he he feels the wars that he was sent to where they shouldn't have gone into, and that he feels betrayed by the government, and he doesn't want to be in America for that reason. If you remember that speech.
I do remember that speech. I do remember that speech, but then he goes back after. He goes back to America anyway for Rambo 5. Now, rumor has it, I've heard one rumor that the farm, like, he lost the rights to the farm. Like, the farm was stolen from him. So that's why he went to Thailand. That's a rumor I heard. Which I'm like, holy shit, that's dark. To take his fucking property, to his family's property that they've had for, like forever. like, it. It just didn't make sense for him to end up in another war torn area, and like I didn't like that. And Rambo 5 is full of fucking shit. Like it's the more we think about it. Like I talked when me and Dark first watched Rambo 5. I think we do a review of it or no?
I don't think so.
We have a library of videos we did. We also have some videos we just never put up. So I
I
can't remember if we did.
I said that I think Rambo 5, if it wasn't called Rambo, it might have people might have been a little less harsh on it. Cause I think
Well, again, I've also heard. Oh, go ahead.
because you go into that movie, it doesn't feel like a Rambo.
It doesn't. Well, also, here's the thing about that. Here, I like the idea. Again, I've heard the other rumor from someone telling me this. Now, maybe this is more hypothetical, but I've heard a story that the way the movie starts, where he's out there doing something and gathering horses and shit, and he's out looking for people. Apparently, here's how this was supposed to go. He was supposed to find a bunch of kids, like young women and kids that were being human trafficked into America. And one of them has like a secret code or some file of some sort. And so basically, the cartel wants this kid's body, wants this kid for whatever reason. He wants the codes. So they're going after Rambo, even though Rambo's taken this small family in for shelter, and that makes it a good movie where they're out fucking looking for him, and they have to deal with Rambo on this terrain and shit. And it makes sense because if you watch the last bit of that movie, that's pretty much what it is. Like,
I'd have to see it again.
yeah,
I haven't seen the fifth one in a while. It's in fact the fifth one. It's so weird
no,
because
no,
I
no,
didn't
you
even
like
it. At least we're finally
you
getting.
liked
It
it.
came out of
The
no
sad thing.
action movie because if
Yeah,
you want good
but I
action, you
remember
got to go
you.
old
I remember
school.
you loving the fifth one. I remember you like, oh, the fifth one's great. It's such a great movie. Oh, I love the fifth one. And I'm like, no, I
You
hate the fifth
remember
one.
wrong.
No, I remember right. I remember you talking about how you liked that fifth one.
I didn't say no. I acknowledge that it's not as good as what came before, but I didn't say it's great, amazing movie.
No, no, no.
Unless it
You
was in the
liked it.
context of at least we're finally getting a decent action movie because if you want good action, you can go
I,
old school.
but I don't think they went old school. I think they went crazy dark. Like, I mean, the fact that his daughter, well, Rambo's sitting in a recovery room his daughter's being tortured for fucking, what was it, days, and then she dies. I'm like, holy fuck. Like that's just awful. Like I understand the idea of why they did it that way, but that is just messed up. And in a Rambo movie, okay, here's the thing about a Rambo movie. When the guys are trying to get happy-go-lucky with certain things, they end up paying an ultimate price. These fuckers didn't technically pay a price until they went after the guy. It just, I didn't like it. I did not like it. It's one of the few Rambo, like I can at least say four is a movie. I'm not a big fan of four, but I can at least say four is a movie. I do not like five at all. I think Samaritan was a far superior movie that he recently did. I think the Tesla King is looking to be really good. I'm gonna have to watch that eventually. But yeah, no, it was it might be a future review on ours, but like, oh yeah, fuck, I hated that movie. Like I really didn't like it. Uh
Well, but as I
but
said,
the
if I'm gonna pick, when did it come out? Like 2008, 17 or something? I don't know. If
yeah,
comparatively to modern action movies, for the most part, I'll take Rambo 5 over anything. I have an extreme
John Wick.
hatred. I'll even take it over John Wick. It has active
I
camera, not
yeah.
shaky. And thankfully,
See,
Rambo
see,
5 did not fall into this trap because Stallone has in The Expendables, but Jesus, filmmakers today, stop shaking the goddamn camera, you
and that's
assholes.
the other thing. Rambo 5 has a shaky cam, if I remember correctly. So I'm like, eh. Um, I don't know what it was, but there was moments where I really didn't like that. There were scenes I didn't like. There were some great scenes in there, and then there were scenes I didn't like. And yeah, no, that's my feeling towards the Rambo. I honestly think my belief is if we went with Rambo 2 and if we went with the Rambo 1 deleted scene, it would have ended the franchise in a good way. If we ended with Rambo, if we did the Rambo 3, I think it would have ended the series in a bad way. That's how I look at it. So and Dark, you
I don't agree with that. I think if we had got that first alternate ending and ended the franchise, we wouldn't have gotten classic, iconic action like Rambo 2 and 3. I mean, some people may not like 3 that much, but most of us agree 2 is the one of the best action films of the 80s and probably of all time. So I'm not going to.
okay? You know what? You know what? Anybody who doesn't like Rambo 3, what? I'm sorry. Helicopter, gunship, gunship versus tank. There's a joust where a gunship and a tank are jousting at each other. It is so epic. I'm sorry, but fucking that scene alone makes that movie worth watching.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3, we can all agree. Anyone whose opinion matters can agree they are undeniably great movies. 4 and 5 is where people, well, especially 5 is where people are divided, but that first 3, as I said, we can all agree they're great.
Yeah, I'm an avid believer of that one. That you're technically right on that one. I can honestly say one. Okay, one is considered the best. It would be considered the best for what it is. Two is a great action movie. Three takes it up to 11, and that's where it should. Honestly, Rambo should have ended there. That's my belief. It's the same thing with, as much as I kind of have the same feeling towards certain other movies. Like I still think Death Wish 1 and 2 should have ended at Death Wish 1 and 2. We should have got a 3, even though Samuel L. Jackson and Graham, and the great Graham Greene, which was probably the best actor in that movie.
I
The guy
agree
from
with you on
Dances and
that.
Wolf. Yeah, I was making a little Die Hard reference. I'm just saying that a movie franchise sometimes needs to know when to end, and Die Hard is a great example of that. I honestly think 1 and 2 are the best, are best, and that series should have ended there. And I think 3 is an unneeded movie.
A lot of people
So
agree the second Lethal Weapon's the best. I'm in the minority. I like the
Yeah,
first
and a
one
lot.
more, but
Hey, and a lot of
spoilers
people
away.
believe it should have ended there. Yeah, and a lot of people think it should have ended there. So yeah, well, that's our thoughts on Rambo and a little bit of everything else that we like to talk about. Hopefully, this video is up to 30 minutes now, so the algorithm loves
Almost.
us. Like, sub, subscribe, and share these videos because we want to get that. We want to get that Raid Shadow Legend money, or that Hello Fresh money, or that established titles. Yeah, give us established titles. Ireland, we need to make money for you. Give us established titles. We can give everyone a lordship. Help us, and we'll make people lords. Cough, cough, cough.
I need a
All
snow cone.
right, thank you, kind.
I need a snow cone
Yeah,
maker.
yeah. Yeah, I need to pay him so he can get a snow cone maker.
Yeah.
All right, have a good one, everybody. Happy New Year, and see you on the flip side.